Yes guys, what is happening and welcome back to a brand new video. Today what we're doing, I'm going to discuss the costs of owning a Megane RS, so whether it comes to the stuff I've had done to it, the modifications, the faults. We're just going to go across what we've done. There's a dog barking really loud, so I think I'm going to have to move location. This did look pretty good because it was all empty, but can't be doing that if there's a dog. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Right, so I think first things first, once we're outside the car, I think we'll probably go outside, then like handling, then probably performance, then interior, so we can kind of give you a little run through of what's what and what's been done. So yeah, let's go. Right then, so here is the front of the car. It's a bit hard to say, so we're going to go off like aesthetic looks only on what has been done. So realistically, there's only like 1, 2, 3 things, 4 things maybe that looks actually different. So start first at the front. So we've got a Maxton splitter. It's roughly about 100 quid, 120 quid should I say. So it's not too expensive, but obviously if it only lasts a month then it's cracked. But Manny, if you're watching this, you've got to send it to him to get it fixed. And then we've got this for the induction kit. I have got a custom induction kit coming. Just got it sent off to have some bits done. So this was about a £5, so it's just a cold air feed. So people go, oh, what's that for? Turbo's there, which is right next to the engine. Obviously the standard airbox is literally like chilling there. So we've routed the induction kit so it goes down there. So cold air up there, through there, into the turbo. So lovely. So straight off the bat you can see these look awful. I need some new lenses, so I'm gonna have to, it's gonna be another thing I'm gonna have to buy. So I'll have to buy some standard headlights, take the lenses off and put new ones on, because this has been polished and everything, and it looks actually looks worse in person than it does on camera. So this was a very cheap mod. This was probably like a couple of cans of paint, so primer, clear coat, paint, not much really, probably like 20-30 quid, probably 2-3 hours work, absolutely banging. So with them 3 mods, it definitely, yeah, we'll go for 4. These are 20 quid, black badges. Can't remember the thingy, but it was off Facebook somewhere. I think black badges are a must. I've got obviously no silver on the car whatsoever, so I think it sets it off really well. And then obviously we've got down RSS, where most of my money goes. Now, you're looking for a Renault specialist in the Midlands, check him out. Honestly, he's an absolute geezer. And then a tow strap. If you go on track with your Megane, the standard tow strap probably comes out to about here, so it's a big, horrible, ugly tow bar. So what you do is, if you get the 0.1 tow strap, and then you can literally get your side belt thingy. Some people have them hanging down to here, which I think looks a bit silly. So I've cut the inside of this out a bit more, and I've tied this in so it only hangs out a little bit. So yeah, I do like that. Some people have them hanging right down to the lower bumper, but yeah, I just like it like this. So that is the front. Yeah, not much else. Some people put holes here, because the engine gets hot, which is common on these on track, which I don't know, man. Sometimes it looks cool, sometimes it ruins it. I saw one the other day that had like 3 there, which looked quite nice, but then I saw another one where it's got like cut out, and I just think it looks a bit naff. Probably could do bonnet scoop bit there, bonnet vent, bonnet latches. They do look cool, quite well known in the old Megane setup. So let's check out the side and see what's happened on the side. I think we should skip this step and go to the next one. Right, so yeah, I will leave the one thing you can probably see more than anything, and then we go to the back. Got a little, obviously, black diamond overlays. I did have I did buy a Maxton spoiler, but there's 2 variants. I didn't realise at the time. I bought the cup one, where this isn't the cup one, but it's a look, so it's just a bit awkward. So my spoiler didn't actually fit. So if anyone's got a cup and wants a cheap one, let me know, and I'll send them your way. And then fin, I think it's about £5, nothing mad. this boot lid, I think it was 60 quid for the lip. What else have we done? We've some markings which was free. That's gonna get sorted. Black tip, literally like just take it off, sand it down, tin of paint, about a tenner. Black tip, lovely jubbly, all sits in rather well, as you can see. Next bit is a little common fault, so if you own a Megane and you've got this issue, this can help you out. I have got a video of it somewhere on the page, so if you want to check that out, more than welcome to. But this is a common problem, and luckily enough I got these for nothing. So if you own a Megane, you might have crusty tail lights. So this one and this one, so you can see a tiny bit of condensation, but this hasn't got the problem because it's been fixed. So basically, if you take them apart, if you take the headlight out, there is a tiny crack like that big. So they all messed up and go horrible, but my original ones were really dark, like they weren't tinted, they just looked like they'd faded so bad. So Steve, you're watching this, thank you so much, brother. He actually bought new tail lights and didn't realise, and then when I said to him, you still got them tail lights? He went, yeah. So I brought them to me, I checked them and I could see the cracks, so I glued the cracks up, swapped them over, because mine were tinted. Mine were really horrible for some reason. I'll try and insert a picture now so you can see. But yeah, that was the issue. So right, on to the next one, let's go. Right, so rear, could start off at the rear. So calipers could do with a refurb. I've got a bit of brake left, got a bit of brake pad left. These are the carbon around ones, off Dan, thank you very much. But yeah, I've got some new pads to stick in, roughly 100 quid maybe, 100 quid for rear pads. You haven't got to spend too much on the rears, I don't think, so that is a job for another day. Right, so I think we should talk about the suspension, the hubs, the bushes, the ball joints, the discs, the pads, the wheels, the tyres, and that kind of stuff. So right, let me set the camera up and we'll have a chat. Right then, so we start from the beginning. So first bought it, completely standard car, so it had 62,000 miles on it, I think. Suspension was completely standard. The only thing I knew that was modified on it was on the lower arm that connects to the bottom of the hub, that was Powerflex, so it had two black Powerflex bushes. That's the only thing that I was like, ooh, it's had a bit of jazz done to it. So we wanted to go down the route of, obviously, the stock Meganes look horrendous, like the way the wheels are so tucked into the arch, the way it's so high. It's literally like a monster truck on tiny wheels. That is the only way to explain it. So first things first, I didn't obviously know how far I wanted to go or how much I wanted to spend. So initially we went lowering springs, we put them on. Then I think lowering springs probably like 100 quid, 120 quid I think for the grams ones. There might be a bit less, I'm sure. It might have been about 80 quid to 120, I'd probably say. And then we went stud nut conversion, so you can get them. I think Dan RS sells them, or Pure Motorsport sells them. I think mine are 82 mil. Mine are not the smallest ones, not the largest ones, in the middle. So they work perfect on these because the wheel sits in quite a bit, so they stick out quite a lot. They were about 95 quid for just all four corners. So obviously you get your studs and your nuts, which I think makes a massive difference, especially when you're like taking the wheel on and off, and I think it looks the bollocks. But obviously the only downside is no locking wheel nuts, so someone could just come along and just take your wheels. If anyone knows about how to get locking wheel nuts for the stud nut conversion, please holler down below. But yeah, so stud nut conversion, then obviously I've had enough of that, and I was like, oh god, I had 20mm spacers. Felt like it rubbed quite a bit on the back, especially like when you go over bumps, it felt like it was catching quite a bit. But I didn't have that desired fitment. I thought, oh, it looks too high, standard wheels. So next step was coilovers. Coilovers, I've got some BC coilovers for 550 quid. I think Cam Racing, they're about 850, 900 pounds something. So I've got some cheap coilovers, man. BC coilovers, I think 7x9 kilograms. So I think they're the more track orientated setup over the standard lot. So I thought, yes, getting suspension, so we're going to get camber, we're going to get adjustment. So what I want to do now, this is a common problem. So if you're watching this thinking I need a Megane, common problem on these are the hubs. So the suspension is so like OTT, it's unbelievable. Like literally your strut goes into a hub that's like a fork, but then it spins, so there's like two ball joints at the top that spin. So they're common on these to like start rattling, start making noise, vibrations and that. They're like the main top and bottom one, absolute knobheads. So whilst I was on that lower ball joint, thought replace that, new drop links, replace that, new ball joints top and bottom, replace them. So I think Renault in Croatia, I think I paid around 300 to 380 pound for the one lower bottom ball joints. That's both sides, there's two of them, and then the upper and lower for the way the hub spins round, and that was so you got four of those. They're the common problem. So apparently these Renault ones are like more advanced, they last longer and stuff. Dan said they do like, you could do up to like 40 track days on them and they'll still be sweet. Obviously I've only done about 3 or 4 and they still seem sound. So that got done. So that's like what, where are we on? So we got suspension 500 quid, stud nut conversion was 100 quid. Obviously we've had spacers, which was like 100 quid. We've had lowering springs 100 quid. So if I'd have just gone coilovers to start off with, I wouldn't have wasted with all that thing. So then I wanted wheels. As you can see, we've gone for the ATS GTRs, which are rare as hell. Like, you can't buy them brand new anymore. For some reason ATS have just stopped making them. I don't know why, because they are sick. Like genuinely, they're my favourite wheel, bar none. Probably the ATS DCTs or the ATS GTRs, they're like my favourite two wheels. So yeah, unfortunately you can't buy them anymore, which is pretty disappointing. But yeah, unfortunately that's the way the cookie crumbles. And there's a van pulling up. Is he going into the house? I don't know. So this is weird. I've had 2 people pull up on me. I've tried to drive somewhere so quiet and literally so there's no one about. But yeah, we seem to be running into people for some reason. Right then, so wheels were, I think my missus bought me these, so I didn't have to pay for these because I've got like the best girlfriend ever. 1,300 to 1,400 pound for just the wheels. So when you get wheels, you get no tyres, so you're gonna have to buy tyres on top of that as well. The wheels were 1,400 from AP Motorsport, and then the tyres were about AR1. So I've got like a weird setup on the front and back. So because I'm not, most cars you can go put the fronts on the back, backs on the fronts, but because I've gone for like a weird Nürburgring spec apparently, my wheels are like 225 40 17 on the front, and then the backs are 235 45 17 on the rear. So my front's a bigger track to the rear, which is weird. I don't understand why, but apparently it's what people do. So I think they were like, I think they were about £700 for the AR1s for the front and back. Bearing in mind I've done a couple of track days, probably 2 track days, most of it just general mileage. Bearing in mind I've had this car like 2.5 years and I've probably done like 12,000 miles in 2.5, 3 years, which is low. My fronts, I'm on the Toyo RR8s now for the fronts because they couldn't get the AR1s in, and they're nearly dead. So the Toyos haven't lasted that long. Apparently they come with like 3.5, 4 mil as standard, whereas if you get Pilot Sport 4s, they come with like 7, 8 mil. So you're already on a losing battle straight away. But you do get the grip in the dry. Like obviously it's wet, it's damp, it's slippy, so it's absolutely crap at the minute. But yeah, that is a lot of money. So we've gone through what? I've had the wheels nearly a year, Christmas. So I've gone through flipping £800, £700 for tyres, and then I've obviously bought new ones for the front, which that was, I think that was about 360, 400 quid for the Toyos for the front. So yeah, I spent like a lot of money on tyres. I'm just trying to think now. So we've done ball joints, we've done suspension. I don't want to come to the end of this video and go, crap, forgot about this. The tool, people keep asking about the tool. If you want to do the suspension, cut the top mounts, I borrowed it off Dan RS, obviously because he's a geezer and I'm a geezer. He just goes, go on then son, let me have it. So that was used to cut the top mounts. Obviously if you try and do this yourself, you're going to need like a tool that cuts the top of the suspension out so you can adjust it with the top mounts, because obviously standard suspensions like that. And then yeah, so right, let's get to the next step. Right, so performance wise, I've just literally got a cone filter. Obviously my other induction kit literally goes down there, goes down there, goes down to there, as you will. So that was roughly I paid. Some big companies are charging like 250, 300 quid for an induction kit, which I think is a joke. This one literally cost me like, it cost me at the time £150 I think. So it's not bad. All new steel pipe work all the way down there. Absolutely lovely. So that's that. Got to go on a bit of maintenance. Spark plugs, I've changed spark plugs in this twice. I'm actually going to do it again before I sell it potentially. So spark plugs, oil filter, you know that jazz. Probably what, over like 2.5, 3 years, probably about 300 quid maybe on oil plugs, all that kind of stuff. That's really it for the engine bay. I haven't really done anything. And when I went to get it mapped, I bust the, it's like a throttle body pipe. I snapped the standard one when trying to change the intercooler, so that cost me 150 quid for that one. It literally goes off there, goes across here down, it goes onto the intercooler. So intercooler AirTech stage 2, so it's quite the big one, which people don't recommend because apparently it blocks the radiator. So if you're going to do it, either go for the Wagner one because it's stepped, or get the stage 1 because otherwise it doesn't block the radiator. So yep, if you're going to fit an intercooler, watch my video, because you don't want to snap the plugs that go there and there. They're the horrible, it's not like normal silicone hoses, it is it's a right dog. So yeah, that's that. So we got services, which is just general, I've done it myself and that, so it hasn't got, I don't think it's got the most amazing service history, but obviously I know what I've done because I've documented it. To be honest with you, mileage and that doesn't really bother me in servicing, because as long as the engine ain't dead or the car ain't dead, an absolute nail, as long as it's had all the bits and bobs done on it, do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's done like 75k, but I've replaced literally everything that can be replaced, that needs replacing, I've done it. Lower arms, everything, ball joints, all that kind of jazz. So we've got in the engine bay, so induction kit about 150, servicing, plugs, oil, filter, probably what, 200, 250. I need to do it again. I'm going to change the oil for some thicker oil, so apparently it's better on track. So that's what, 250, 300 maybe for the third service. Intercooler was second hand, I bought it from Ryan, absolute geezer if you're watching this. That cost me 300 quid. So yeah, I think we're getting up. So blanking plate as well, because we're on the performance kind of side of it. Blanking plate was like 30 quid, so it weren't much at all, which sounds absolutely mint. Like genuinely, if you've got a Megane, just buy a blanking plate, just try to fit it and see what you think, because induction kit blanking plate, absolutely superb. Exhaust, I'll try and show you, I'll try and give you a little rev away from the house and that, because obviously I don't want to be a dick splash. Exhaust, we have got that puppy there, you can just about see it. It is an enhanced performance turbo back non-res, so it's basically DCAT or CAT, depending if the police are watching this or whatever. CAT, all the way down, no pipes, back box, that's it. So it's non-res. Megane, I think unless you put a hybrid turbo on it or Garrett turbo with a tubular manifold, they're not the best sounding engines. They sound weird. That's the only way to put it. They don't sound like any other car. It sounds so weird. But if you want an exhaust for it, an exhaust is about £1,000, 1,100 quid, depending on obviously what one you want. Enhanced performance, sure, it's about £1,000, 1,100 quid maybe. Might have gone up, might have gone down. I don't know. I haven't checked the research in a while. So, and then I think all it is a map. Literally, you don't have to do much to these to get a map out of them. So stock, 250 brake, 250 pound-foot of torque. Cheers plain. Map, you can either go EFI parts, I think they're one of the leading ones, or obviously I went with RS tuning. There was a couple of others claiming they were really good at mapping, and people had issues with the car, so I'm obviously not getting involved in that. I was actually going to go with them, by the way, and I'm quite glad I didn't, because I didn't want to be putting no engine in this. So I went with RS tuning. Paul absolute genius. He goes to Australia, maps Meganes in Australia. He does maps everywhere. I think he maps for a certain tuning company, and obviously they just say it's their map, but it's actually RS Tuning's. That's 400 quid. So literally a map. You get, so you start 250 brake, 250 pound-foot of torque, so you probably get 100, 110 pound-foot of torque. Brake horsepower, you could get anywhere from 300 to 320, so 300, 320 brake, 360, 350 pound-foot of torque. But obviously the engine and the gearbox and that, well, not the gearbox, more like the clutch, they could start slipping around that kind of power. I think you get 400 brake without forging it, but any more than like 350, 360 pound-foot of torque, that's where you're gonna mount the clutch. You can mount the clutch at any time though, but I think the engine can only take 350, 360 pound-foot of torque before it decides to shit itself. So if you're looking for any more than that, but on track, I'd say probably, I obviously haven't done it, but my car being relatively stock, it's not stock, is it? Let's be fair. But with the mods it's got on it, hasn't got any crazy power like 400 brake. I wouldn't mind 400 brake to be fair, but it does very well. It makes up for it in handling on like how good it is. It's literally ridiculous. So if someone asked me earlier, do you recommend me getting a Megane over an Astra VXR? And I said, depends what you want. Do you want to sit there at traffic lights, rev it and sound the bollocks? Yes. If you enjoy driving your car and you like, say if there's a favourite piece of road that you drive on and you love to hit this part of it and that part of it, then absolutely a Megane is the car for you, because yes, it might not tick every box, but when you drive it and you want to drive it hard and you go, I'm going to go around this island at a certain speed, and somehow you're still on the tarmac, it is literally unbelievable. Obviously I'm not blowing its own arse. If you own one, you know about it. If you don't know about it, you need to know about it. So yeah, let's I think we're on to the inside now. I'm sure we are. So yeah, let's crack on with the inside. Right, and so excuse the mess, because this is how it is most of the time. If I go show them, I'll clean it. So straight off the bat, door cards, completely stock. I think the only thing I've done is I've painted those gloss black. Let's have some Renault Sport mats. I'm sure Renault don't do the mats anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't do the yellow stitching ones, so that's a shame, because obviously it's all Alpine now and who wants that? So right, what should we go for first? Should we go for the vents, steering wheel, or the shifter, or the seats, or the cage? I don't know what to go for, so right, we'll try and step inside. So I had some carbon bits made. To be fair, the lad was sound, to be fair. Quality, just starting out, and that's obviously giving the benefit of doubt, and I think he did a banging job, to be fair, but I gave him quite a lot and it kind of like scared him. But we've got a couple of little ripples in here and that from like, I think it's the lacquer or the bubbles or the air, I'm not too sure, but to be honest with you, I was well happy with it. So I paid him the carbon, so I had that carbon, that made in carbon, vents made in carbon. I think it's about 150 quid I paid, so it wasn't too bad. There is other companies out there doing it and that now, but yeah. So we've got carbon, carbon, carbon. That's the only thing I've really changed. And then in here, we've got the Volantec Boss with the OMP steering wheel with the Volantec buttons. So the Boss itself, I think you have to get, I can't even remember where you get it from. Volantec might supply it if they've got it in stock. That's about 69 quid, 79 quid just for the Boss. So this little bit here. And then you've got your Volantec. This is like the snap off Boss. So obviously when I go to bed or someone doesn't where I live, people seem to want stuff for nothing. So you might wake up and you'll have no car. So it was literally like 4 o'clock in the morning and 2 blokes were on the drive trying to open the front door, and one was trying to get into this. So after that I was like, yo, I don't want a steering lock because they're too big and bulky. So we've gone for the snap off Boss. You don't have to do this obviously, because it pushes it out a bit more. So obviously you've got this yellow Boss, so it would be that much more further back. So obviously when I first got it I was like, whoa, this is out too far. But the more I've got on with it, the more I've drove it, it doesn't bother me as much. But I do know that if you just get the standard Boss, it's a lot shorter and it's cheaper, but it's not going to stop you from getting your car robbed. So this is that. And then I think for the Volantec yellow connector with the buttons, I'm sure it was about 270. So the buttons, I think the buttons are about 50 quid. And then I'm sure the Volantec actual setup, so you've got these splines that it sits onto into this with the connectors and everything, I'm sure that was about I'm sure that's about 220, 230 maybe. Might be wrong, so definitely double check that before you go purchasing one. So obviously this is just rough estimates of what I paid, I think, at the time of purchasing. So I'm just trying to give you my overall experience, because I like to tell you how it is, not what it is. Do you know what I mean? So and then obviously Demon Tweak sorted me out with the steering wheel, absolute geezers. OMP steering wheel, I'm sure it was about 150, 160 for the steering wheel. So for the Boss snap off kit and the steering wheel, I'm sure it was about 550. So it is a very lot of money, especially for a steering wheel. I'm sure I only told the missus about like 200 quid for it, so do not be saving this and sending it to her, because I'll be upset. So yeah, let's go on to the next bit. And then probably one of my favourite mods to a car, the 0.1 shifter. This is the dry carbon version, which looks very, very tasty with the yellow knob that matches the colour of the car. There is other brands. There's one brand that's a lot cheaper, but it breaks a lot and you have a lot of problems with it. There is one brand a bit more expensive, like this, which the owner, Terry, is an absolute geezer. And obviously you've got my instruction manual how to fit it, so why would you not want to buy one of these? Honestly, if you're going to buy a shifter, don't mess about with the other two brands. Go 0.1, and honestly the product itself speaks for itself. But if you have any problems or any questions, give Terry a message at 0.1 and he'll sort you out. Honestly, tell him I sent you as well, because he's an absolute geezer. And before I forget, because the whole point of doing this is to tell you how much things cost, I think the shifter was probably about, I think it was between £1,000 and £1,100. So obviously yes, it's not the cheapest thing, but if you care about your driving and you want this to add up to that, to eat that, like honestly with the steering wheel combined with the 0.1 shifter combined with the seats, it just adds to the engagement and the excitement of like how the car actually feels as one. Do you know what I mean? It's like a Porsche GT3 RS Club Sport. Obviously it's not, it's a hot hatch Megane, but it just adds up to being such a wicked car on track. Like, it's absolutely mental. So yeah, let's go with the next bit. Right then, let's have a look here then and see what we got. So we've got some Recaro pole position seats with some Schroff harnesses, like so. These are fancy. So obviously I've got the 4-point, so clip, and then this one clips in there. So my seat, right, let's explain this. So I was lucky enough when I got this car, it had the Recaros in it. I felt like it, one, sat too high, and two, I felt like I was getting thrown about in it a lot, so I weren't too keen on it. So we swapped them out, so sold them for I think 1,500 quid. And then Alex, if you know about Renault and that, you'll obviously have heard of him quite a lot. He was selling the Recaro pole positions, he was selling these harnesses, and he was selling the mounts for £2,000. So it was literally sell my seats, put 500 quid and get these seats, harnesses, and yeah, and the mounts, because loads of people were moaning at me because when I had the Recaros and I bolted it to the floor, obviously if you don't know something, how are you going to know it's wrong? Do you know what I mean? So all that's been changed now, so we got, literally it cost me 500 quid theoretically because I sold my seats. So if someone's looking at this setup and thinking, oh, I want to do that, you could probably do it. So yeah, pole positions, Schroff harnesses, when they're all done up nice and tight and you're driving it, you don't really move anywhere, so it is absolutely mint. So yeah, let's get on to the next bit. Right then, and then the sexy cage, man. BPC tuning. They do quite a lot of car things. Started making cages and that. Yeah, what can I say? It's a cage. It is solid, absolutely solid. I think I paid around $380, I think, for the cage. So if anyone's interested in a cage, check them out. I'll try and link companies below in the description. But yeah, that's what we're at. Right then, so let's get on to the tax, the fuel, the insurance, how much it costs to pay for the actual car. So I bought this car, I'm sure it was around 62,000 miles, so I've done about 13,000 miles in like nearly 2.5 years, which isn't too bad. I don't really drive the car, literally like sits on the drive until I do something like this today. So I paid, back in the day, 2.5 years ago, paid £9,500 for it. And I'm quite happy with it, to be fair. I think you get quite a lot of car for the money, a very good car for the money. So in today's market with the mods, I don't know how much I'd say, so I put 12,000 miles on it. Obviously it's got all the goodies, it's got the shifter, got the coilovers, got the cage, got the seats, got the wheels, suspension. I'd probably say it's between 12 and 13 grand. I'd say 13 grand's more on the higher side, but I think as a proper cost estimate, I'd probably say it's worth about 12 grand. Insurance, obviously I said I live in the West Midlands, so everyone wants something for nothing, so they might try and rob it. The insurance on this car, with like 9 years no claims where I live, it's about 600, 650 I think it was this year. So yeah, it's not too bad. I've paid a lot more. I've paid like, most of I've paid like £3,200. So it's definitely a lot cheaper than what I've paid before. And then tax is like £26 a month. And it's 2 litre turbocharged car, so it's just banging fuel in whenever it needs it. I can't say I drive it enough to say, yeah, I've put 20 quid a week in it, put 30 quid a week in it. I literally put like a tenner in it, put 20 quid in it, put 30 quid in it. And then whenever it runs out really. So sometimes I say, I'm sure I've saw that MPG thing at like 38 miles per gallon on the motorway. And then obviously when I'm sending it, I don't even look at that. I just have the G-force meter on and see how far we can go around corners. But yeah, I've just tried to give you my honest opinion on the car. Some people are throwing 30 grand into the car when they don't have to, because literally one of these out the box with a couple of mods is all you need, honestly. To be fair, I couldn't imagine what a 450 brake one would be like, to be fair. So yeah, if anyone likes the video, comment down below, let me know what your thoughts are, because obviously your support in the community is a lot, man. It means a lot, you know that. 5 years in, we've been doing YouTube and that now, so it's been a long old ride. But yeah, I say it a lot, but short and sweet. I'm feeling the need for a change. So if anyone's interested in the Megane, after Christmas, I've got a couple of little niggles I want to sort out just to make it perfect for the new owner. It will be up for sale after Christmas, I think. Time to move on to something different. Don't say what you get in, blah blah blah, because as soon as I got the money in the bank, that's when I'll decide when things are going to happen. Because I just feel like I haven't moved on from this, and it's been like 2.5, 3 years too long. So yeah, if you like the video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Make sure you drop a sub, so click on that sub link, press on the notification bell if you want more notifications. So I am going to try and post a bit more than I have done, because I've been very lazy. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, comment down below, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.